Welcome to the City of Miami Beach Commission Chambers. We're glad to have you with us today. If you require ADA assistance or accommodations, please notify the city clerk or any staff member, and we will be happy to assist you. As a courtesy to everyone present, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices at this time. Lobbyist disclosure reminder. If you are a lobbyist appearing before the City Commission or any city board, you must have registered with the city clerk prior to participating. If you have not yet registered, please do so immediately. Presentation reminder. If you submitted a presentation within the 24 hours prior to the start of today's meeting, please check the computer located at the podium to ensure your file is properly loaded. When the floor opens for public comment, please step up to the podium, speak clearly into the microphone, and begin by stating your name and address for the record. How to participate in public meetings via Zoom. Once you have joined the Zoom meeting, go to the bottom panel and click on the raise hand icon to notify the meeting host that you would like to speak. As soon as the host grants you permission to speak, a dialog box will pop up on your screen with two options. Select the unmute button to begin speaking. After you finish speaking, mute your microphone and click on the lower hand icon. If you are joining Zoom via phone, tap the keypad icon and press star 9 to notify the meeting host that you have raised your hand to speak. A voice operator will prompt you to unmute your microphone by pressing star 6. Once unmuted, you may begin speaking. After you finish sharing your comments, be sure to press star 9 to lower your hand and star 6 to mute yourself. We kindly ask everyone to conduct themselves in a respectful and professional manner throughout today's meeting. Thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for participating in your local government here in the City of Miami Beach.
Please take your seats. The meeting is about to begin. Remember to speak into the microphone, as this meeting is being recorded for public record. Please stand by. We are going on air in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting on Friday, September 12th, 2025. I hope everyone had a great summer and are getting back into the routine of things. We've got 3 items on the agenda today, so why don't we go ahead and start with attendance. Mr. Madden, could you take roll, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. We'll do a roll call for attendance. Mr. Goldberg,
Here.
Mr. Davis,
Here.
Mr. Krennic,
Here.
Ms. Morelli,
Here.
Mr. Nagler,
Present.
Ms. Silverman,
Here.
Mr. Silvers.
Here.
We have a full board. 7 members are present.
Excellent. Mr. City Attorney, can you please tell people how they can participate via Zoom and the swearing, and then after that, go ahead and swear in the public that's here. Anyone participating via Zoom will get sworn in at the time of the testimony. Mr. City Attorney, thank you.
Sure, perfect, thank you. Today's meeting of the Board of Adjustment has been scheduled in a hybrid format with a quorum of the board physically present in the Commission chambers located at 1700 Convention Center Drive, and applicants, staff, and members of the public appearing either in person or virtually via the Zoom platform. In order to participate in today's meeting, those wishing to participate via the Zoom platform may dial 888-853-5257, which is a toll-free number, and enter the webinar ID, which is 828-6961-5309, or log into the Zoom app and enter the webinar ID, which again is 828-6961-5309. Any individual wishing to speak on an item must click the raise hand icon if they are using the Zoom app, or dial *9 if they are participating by phone. Before I swear in those that are testifying, I'm going to read into the record the city's notice regarding lobbyist registration. If you're appearing on behalf of a business, a corporation, or another person, you need to register as a lobbyist with the city clerk's office. If you haven't registered yet, you should register before you speak to the board. You do not have to register as a lobbyist if you are speaking only on behalf of yourself and not any other party, or if you are testifying as an expert witness providing only scientific, technical, or other specialized information or testimony in this public meeting, or if you are appearing as a representative of a neighborhood association without any compensation or reimbursement for your appearance to express support of or opposition to any item. Expert witnesses and representatives of neighborhood associations shall, prior to appearing, disclose in writing to the city clerk their name, address, and the principal on behalf who they are communicating. If you are an architect, attorney, or employee representing an applicant or an objector, you must register as a lobbyist. These rules apply whether you are appearing in favor of or against an item, or encouraging or arguing against its passage, defeat, modification, or continuance. So at this point, anyone in the chambers that's going to be testifying, if you could please stand up, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll be giving in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, and please be seated. And with that, I'll turn it back to Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Attorney, I'm sorry. I'm a little flip out there. Any discussion items, Mr. Madden?
We have no discussion items today.
Okay, in your packages, you had the minutes from our July 30th meeting. Hopefully you had a chance to look over those. I'll entertain any corrections, or if everything was okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes from July 30th.
Move to approve the minutes.
Okay, moved by Mr. Davis, second. Okay, second by Ms. Silverman. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we do have one request for a continuance. That's going to be ZBA 25-0176, 50 East Delito Drive. Alejandro, can you help us with that, please? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That one I'm going straight to Mr. Madden.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So this is, the applicant has realized that they need to revise the application somewhat, so they've requested a continuance to the November meeting.
Okay, so we need a motion, we need a motion to approve that request.
And just to clarify, that would be the November 7th meeting.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Krennic, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Davis, all in favor? Aye. Likewise? Okay, motion passes, thank you. Do we have any previously continued applications?
We have no previously continued applications.
Okay, awesome, great. So with that, we'll get into our first application. It's going to be ZBA 25-0184, 1725 Daytonia Road. Alejandro, can you take that, please?
This application has been filed requesting an after-the-fact variance from the minimum required interior side yard setback to retain a covered terrace for an existing single-family home.
Okay, so this application is an after-the-fact variance. The applicant obtained a building permit from the building department. Unfortunately, when the application was submitted, the application was not routed to the planning department for review for the land development regulations. So the plan, this is for the construction of a terrace in the backyard of the home. The terrace encroaches into the side yard setback by about to reduce by 1 foot 2 inches. It encroaches into the side yard setback. The applicant constructed the terrace as was approved in the building permit. Unfortunately, when they went to final the permit, the planning inspector went and realized that this was not in compliance with the setbacks and the land development regulations. So they had to go in for an after-the-fact variance for this application. Given the hardships, they did get a building permit, they went through the process. This was an error. Staff is supportive of the granting of this variance because it would be a hardship to require the applicant to go in and reconstruct this terrace at this point. So staff recommends that the application be approved, subject to the conditions in the attached draft order.
Okay, great. Thank you. Before I begin, any disclosures on the dais? Okay, seeing no disclosures, Mr. Avalos?
Yes.
Is going to be presenting. You are representing the client. You're the consultant representing the client, right?
Yes,
You're gonna
good
present?
morning. Yeah, I'm in here on behalf of representing the property owner and the contractor for the case that you mentioned, 1725.
I'm sorry, yeah, we started the timer. 10 minutes is enough for your presentation? We'll give you 10 minutes to present.
That's
Okay.
more
Let's
than
not need
enough.
more. Okay, thank you so
But
much.
It's actually, I'm gonna say the same thing that he said.
Okay, continue, thank you.
If you don't mind, I will go directly to the conclusion because everything is the same thing. So in conclusion, this pergola was built under a valid permit and the applicant accepted a good faith. The variance is necessary to avoid undue hardship and allow the pergola to remain in construction. We respectively request the board to approve this variance, and that's it. Thank you for your consideration. We have already submitted a letter from the left neighbor, which is the most affected, and it's in the records, saying that everything is okay,
Yep.
no issues.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and open up to any public comment. Do we have anybody on Zoom, Mr. Madden? Anyone here in the chambers?
If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand. We have no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and close the public comment, and I'll open it up to the board for questions to the chair. Mr. Nagler?
Back at it.
We missed you. Okay.
I have a question for staff, I think. Whose mistake was this? And I don't mean like what person. I just mean like, was it the city's mistake or their mistake?
The city, when permits are submitted to the city, they get, depending on what you're proposing, it should be routed to various departments, depending on what it is. This one should have been routed to the planning department. It simply was an error that it wasn't, because we would have caught that in permitting and told them, hey, you need to shave off 1.5 feet before you start building, and unfortunately, that didn't happen in this case.
Okay, and I'm not looking to
Yeah.
point fingers, but I'm just saying, so if this was a city mistake, should they have reasonably caught the city's mistake in this instance?
A pergola, you probably don't need it's probably the contractor preparing plans instead of an architect. If it's an architect working on it, an architect should have caught it. Something like this, you're likely able to get a contractor to do the plans or an engineer that might not be looking at the zoning code. That's a thought. Yes, I mean, ideally, yes, but it's understandable that they didn't.
Okay, because my point is that assuming there's some fees and costs for the applicant to come before us today to correct a city error, that seems insane to me. So like we're charging them to correct our mistake. I don't really get that, but that's it. That's my thoughts.
Understood.
Are we able to waive the fees or costs associated with
The
this?
code doesn't have a provision to waive the fees. I believe the property was homesteaded, so we actually were able to reduce the fee for homesteaded properties. So we were able to do that, but unfortunately, the code does not have a provision to waive fees
Okay, thank you.
for this type of situation. It does for other situations, but not this type of situation.
Thank you. Any other questions from the dais, for the applicant or staff? No? Okay, with that, I'll entertain any motions.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, Ms. Silverman, motion to approve, second?
Second?
Was that, okay. Everyone's going to second, I don't know if we can, okay, I don't know if we can do everyone's second, but we'll go ahead and we'll take Mr. Silver's second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you so much for coming in, okay? We appreciate it, okay?
Thank you very much. In order to close the permit, which is still open because of this inspection that is not approved, how will be the process can you tell me?
We will give you a recorded order. It should likely be ready within a week or two. We have to finalize it, sign it, send it to the county to record. Once you have that recorded order, you will be able to submit that with the plans, and planning will be able to sign off on it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a very good day.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Next item is going to be ZBA 25-0187, 2034 North Bay Road. Alejandro?
This application has been filed requesting an after-the-fact variance for the rear yard setback in order to legalize a court game on a parcel with an existing single-family home.
Okay, so this is an existing home. It is a waterfront lot. The lot is irregularly shaped, and the applicant constructed a paddle court in the rear yard. The court encroaches into the setback by 6 inches. So it's unfortunate. It's only for, this is a variance for 6 inches into the rear yard. It's only a corner of the paddle court that encroaches into the setback. The rear yard is irregularly shaped. It's sort of a triangular type shape. So we looked at it and to determine if they would be eligible for a variance pursuant to there being a hardship. Given the irregular shape of the lot, it is likely that they would have been eligible to request a variance had they come in beforehand. So given that they do have a hardship with the shape of the lot, staff does recommend that it be approved. But this is an after-the-fact variance. The court is already there, and it does encroach into the setback by 6 inches. So with that, staff recommends that the application be approved, subject to the conditions in the attached draft order.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any disclosures on the dais? Okay, Mr. Juvert from MJ Permits, you're going to be presenting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll give you 10 minutes. If you need more, let me know.
Sure, need it.
Floor is yours. Thank you.
Perfect. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board, staff. Thank you for hearing this variance request. Like Rogelio said, this is a very unfortunate variance where it's just a corner of the paddle court that's encroaching, not even, it's a little bit less than 6 inches going into the rear setback. The rear setback right now, it is a single-family zoning. Rear setback is 7 feet 6 inches. We're just under 7.2, I believe, is what we're respecting in the rear. We have a PowerPoint. I don't know if we can get that pulled up. Okay, go ahead, next slide, please.
The computer is right next to you on your left-hand side.
Sorry.
Okay. So here's the same plan that we've submitted to all of you. It's just showing the awkward wedge-shaped lot with the location of the paddle court. The corner that we are attempting to get a variance for is going to be the top left corner of the paddle court, closest to the rear property line. Here's the plan that was submitted to the city. It's been approved by all disciplines. It complies with Florida Building Code. It's only been denied by planning pending the determination of this board for the variance. Here are some pictures of the paddle court so you guys can see. It is an open air, open to the sky paddle court. There is very mature landscaping all around it to block any view to any neighbors or any other adjacent properties. The rear of the property is the waterway, and there is also some hedges back there to block the view as well. Here you can see that hedge. And this is the rear view of the paddle court. Side view. view from the side of the house between the two homes. And this is the rear of the property, the waterway, and it should be a picture here showing the hedge that blocks it from the waterway as well. There it is. Okay. So in conclusion, we're just respectfully requesting that you guys grant us the 6-inch variance so that we can go ahead and continue with our building permit, get this legalized, and get this permit closed.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go ahead and open up public comment. Anyone here in the chambers or on Zoom?
We have no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comment, open it up to questions from the board. Through the chair. Ms. Silverman, you have one?
Yeah, it's the variance is the, next to the water, right?
Correct, yep. It's just for the corner of the paddle court that,
Six. Questions?
So
Mr. Brennick, go ahead.
the paddle court was constructed trying to get the permit?
Yes, sir.
And that was because there was a thought that a permit wasn't needed, or just?
I'm not quite
that's
sure
just how
why it
worked
was
out?
built without the permit. I do know that there was a permit applied for and that was denied by planning. Everyone else has approved and reviewed it. It does meet and comply with Florida Building Code. And it's just like Rogelio said, it's just that corner is coming in about 6 inches.
Okay, thanks.
Additional questions? I do. What year was it built? The property was bought in 2018 of September. When was this constructed?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was constructed last year.
Okay.
The building permit was applied for in April.
So my question is, it's a pretty significant structure.
Okay.
That was done. I mean, we've had after the fact variances in the past, but when I reviewed this one, it just kind of seems like this is one of the. I mean, I've been up here for 6 years, and this is like the biggest one I've seen. That is, a lot of times they're after fact variances for someone adding some additional square footage, something that's really you can't really see it. But to construct a structure of this magnitude, not knowing or not thinking, I guess is my question, that they would have to pull a permit to do it. I just wanted to get some feedback as to what were the owner's thoughts when they did this, because it's big. And listen, it's only 6 inches. Don't get me wrong, okay? I mean, and it looks good and all that. But what did they not know, or they just thought maybe they were going to get away with it? I mean, I just need to ask that question to get clarification.
I don't believe it's that they thought they were going to get away with it. I do believe it was just a fact of not knowing. And I do agree with you, it is a significant structure. However, it is something that most of the homes on North Bay Road are awarded the opportunity to have this because of their normal lot shapes. Because of this wedge-like shape, we can't move. The court couldn't have gone anywhere else, closer to the home, closer to the side. It had to go where it was. And there was a recent ZBA that was approved by this board in January. I have the number. It should have been in that slide, but it's not. January 8th meeting, there was one that was, the setback was reduced from 30 feet to 10 feet to allow for a paddle court as well. Just trying to establish that there is a precedent and a history of things like this nature that have passed.
Yeah, I have 2 more questions.
Yes.
Is this an owner-occupied property?
Yes.
Or is it a second home? It's a second home, primary? I don't think it's homesteaded, right?
It's a second home.
It's a second home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the other question is, I didn't see any letters of support from any of the neighbors. Did you reach out to get any letters of support from any of the neighbors?
The
We
owner-
always ask that when we don't see it,
Yes.
because especially something of this significance that stands out. I always ask that question when I don't see letters of support in the file.
The owner did reach out to the neighbors. He owns the house next door as well, on one of the sides. And he says he got support from them, but like, just as him, there are many neighbors that are second homes or they don't live there full time, and it's been tough trying to catch them to get them to sign a letter. But he did reach out and verbally spoke to them.
Any other questions? Maybe I'd pique some additional interest. Mr. Nagler, go ahead.
Yeah, so these 6 inches, I mean, this is the corner that's closest to the water, right?
Correct.
So it's a little piece of concrete that it goes up maybe a foot off the ground. And in theory, and I'm not suggesting this happen, I'm probably gonna be in favor of this, but they could like cut off that, I mean, I don't think it's structured, and it's like a little corner thing that when we talk about the grandeur of this, I don't know if it's paddle or padel, but whatever, of this thing, the structure, it has nothing to do with the variance. The variance is really for this thing that's 6 inches like this and a foot off the ground, and you could cut that off, and they need no variance, and you still have the court there.
I believe the variance is for the wall itself, the concrete trim around it, the supporting concrete. We wouldn't need a variance for that. That's just on the ground. It doesn't exceed the maximum yard elevation. We would consider that part of the yard. It's for the portion that is raised, the glass wall that's raised up.
Okay, so is it 6 inches in from where? From where that wall starts?
Correct.
I see, okay, so
Yeah.
that's different then.
So it's a setback variance, so it should be 6 inches closer to the house.
Correct.
So, I mean, you're talking about the wall, I don't think that's relevant, it's a setback.
It's 6 inches away from the seawall.
Right, right.
It's this black post. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought the 6 inches was from the concrete corner, but
Yeah,
it's from the black post.
it's a setback, it's not,
So that post.
that doesn't come into play. That doesn't come into play with the variance, if you read the variance. It's strictly setback.
Right, and it's from that black post, is the 6 inches.
Yeah.
Got it, thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions?
question.
Ms. Silverman, go ahead.
Do we know who constructed this court?
At this time, I do not have the contractor's name, no.
Okay, because it would seem to me, just sort of to your point in the opposite direction, that the person who constructed it should have known they needed a permit.
Absolutely.
And didn't advise their client to get a permit. That seems to me to be, I don't know, unethical, some reason that their license should be looked at, or they should be fined in some way. And I don't know if we can,
You know, I'll piggyback on that. That's a great point. You know, this is a real tough one. I mean, I'm going to support it, but I got to tell you, and that's why I am, and thank you for bringing that up. That's a really good point. You know, whoever constructed that, you know, the city should really take note of that contractor and put a little thing up there to double check anything that person brings in.
Okay.
Because, you know, it would have been approved. It's not a big deal. 6 inches is not a big deal, but, you know, the contractor tried to get away with it.
Okay.
And they got caught. So that's a good point. Thank you, Ms. Oatman. Very good point.
I'll share that with the building official that the Board of Adjustment granted or is considering granting a variance, but they had concerns over the work that this contractor
Yeah.
did after the fact.
Yeah, good
I'll share
point.
that
Good
concern.
point, Janet.
And since then, this point has also been brought up to the owner, and she's been educated to let him know that anything as minor as it may seem is going to require a building permit from the city prior to any work being done.
I'll be honest with you. I don't want to keep going. It's common sense in any city, let alone the city of Miami Beach, to build something of that magnitude and think that you don't have to go to the city and talk to them about it. It's, you know,
Absolutely.
again, I'm going to support it, but this one was a tough one to me.
Understood.
So, any other questions?
Just how did it come up that you need a permit now versus?
I'm absolutely not quite sure. They just gave me a call and they asked me
That's
to
a
help
question
them
for
to get
staff,
it.
I guess.
Correct.
Do you know?
I assume there was a violation.
I'm sorry,
How did it come
did
up?
come up in plan.
Something how'd it get caught is the question,
Came
I
up in
guess.
plan review. It was reviewed by Irina Villegas, and she's the one who quoted.
Right, but the reason you went to go in for the after-the-fact permit was because I assume that you got a violation from code enforcement, that there
believe
was
so, yes.
illegal construction. I'm not sure if that was as a result of somebody phoned in or.
But
some-
do we know what that violation was? Because it's kind of piquing a little bit of interest, because what was that violation? I mean, would the board want to know that, or? Yeah, I mean, you want to go and speak?
No, yeah, now I do.
Hit your microphone, go ahead.
I'll look it up. I'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but you want to give your opinion, Ms. Mayor? Go ahead, on the
No.
record, or no? No, you're good, okay. You want me to look that up before we do a motion, or is that going to impact anyone's vote, or you want me to open it up for a motion? No? Okay, silence is golden then. Okay, any motions on the floor then? Okay, we got a move to approve from Mr. Nagler. Do I hear a second? Okay, second by Mr. Silvers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion passed.
Appreciate
Okay,
your time.
only got
Thank
lucky
you.
on this one, okay? Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's go to our third item. It's going to be ZBA 25-0188, 5940 North Bay Road. Alejandro?
This application has been filed requesting variances from the understory requirements to allow portion of the understory to be filled and include air-conditioned space, allow solid walls, and to remove understory edge requirements for the construction of a new two-story single-family understory home to replace an existing home.
Okay, so this is an application for a few variances. This is a 2.28 acre lot in the RS2 district, so it's a very large lot, has a width of 207 feet and a depth of 421 feet. The applicant is proposing a home with a unit size of 42.8%, so it's below the maximum unit size of 50%, so this results in a 42,583 square foot home. The applicant is proposing for a two-story home with an understory, which allows them to construct at 31 feet. And the applicant is proposing a lot coverage of 29.7%, which is below the maximum of 30%. The applicant is proposing an understory that includes a few variances. So the understory homes previously had to go to the design review board, always. The city commission recently authorized them to be approved administratively. So as long as they don't need any waivers from the design review board, they can now seek variances from the Board of Adjustment. So previously, this board would have never seen understory homes, but now, because of this new amendment to the city code and to the land development regulations, understory homes can come to the Board of Adjustment. So the applicant is seeking a few variances. The understory regulations are intended to create a space underneath the home that is pervious, that allows for water to drain, to water to flow, create additional open spaces for the homeowner to be able to enjoy. So the applicant is seeking a few variances of some of those requirements that are required for understory homes. The first one is that they want to include enclosed recreational space in the understory. The code allows you to have recreational areas in the understory, but they're supposed to be open air. The applicant, due to their own personal desires, wishes to have some of those areas enclosed. Because they're so far below their unit size, they could have these enclosed areas in the upper levels, but that would add to the massing and the volume of the home. And so it actually minimizes the impacts on surrounding properties if these are in the understory area and enclosed. So that's the first variance. The second one is to allow for the full enclosure and air conditioning of portions of the understory home that are used for storage and recreational space. So those, the understory regulations allow you to have storage that is not air conditioned. It does count towards the maximum unit size. They are requesting a variance to allow them to be air conditioned. They have, in some cases, some mechanical equipment that needs to be kept under air conditioning given the scale of the home, or they're seeking to store things that they would rather have air conditioned so that it's better maintained given the waterfront location and salt water, salt air intrusion to prevent corrosion and other issues. The next requirement, this is from section, these three variances that I'm mentioning are all from section 7223B6A of the Resiliency Code. So this is all under one unified regulation. The next one, that's part of that regulation, is a requirement that the understory area be fully open with the exception of breakaway walls. So breakaway walls are architectural elements that in the case of a flood, if they get removed from the structure, they don't impact the stability of the home or the structure of the home. The code requires that it be open, that each side of the understory be open 50%. The applicant is proposing to enclose the rear and the front and the portions of the side of the understory area that will exceed 50%. Coverage, so the understory will essentially appear like a basement, though it won't actually be a basement because the ground will slope up and cover portions of the understory. Given the scale of the lot, the size of the lot, the sloping of the ground, the location along the waterfront, and the possibility for storm surges, the applicant does have a practical difficulty, and staff is supportive of the granting of these variances so that they better enclose and protect that understory area. The next two variances I'm going to describe are related to section 7223B6H of the Resiliency Code. So these are related to a second understory regulation. The first is that certain architectural and structural elements within the understory to encroach within the required 5-foot setback from the edge of the first habitable floor. So the understory regulations require that there be essentially a landscape perimeter of 5 feet around the edge of the understory. Given that the ground will be sloping and going into the understory, they won't be able to comply with that requirement. The 5 feet that's required to be open and landscape will be covered by ground, so it will still be green space. It will still be able to be used in most cases for its intended purpose, which is to allow for water to drain, but it will not be at the understory level. It'll be a little bit higher up. And so these are all related. If one variance is not granted, none of these work. They're all interconnected. The second is deviation from the on-site water capture and landscaping requirements along the front and side understory edges. And again, they're related there. The understory, these areas will be covered by ground, so they won't be able to comply with these requirements. And in some cases, the enclosed storage and recreational areas will also be encroaching into this area, so they won't be able to comply with those. So given the location of the site, location along the waterfront, the size of the lot, some of these regulations are just not practical and really limits the architectural creativity that the architect has put into the home. So staff is supportive of the granting of the variances, subject to the conditions in the attached draft order. Some of these are hard to visualize, so the applicant's presentation will do a better job than I can speaking to you, so I'll turn it over.
Okay, before I do that, are there any disclosures on the dais? Okay, the only thing I will disclose is my father, Bart Goldberg, and my stepmom, Sandy Goldberg, live on 5969, which is across the street and one house to the north. And we were just given a package, and they were showing support. I have not had any conversations with the applicants at all. I just wanted to disclose that. It was up to my dad to do what he wanted to do. So I just want to put that on the record. Okay? With that being said, Mr. Amster, I guess you're going to present as the attorney, and Mr. Moring is the architect. I know you're going to need a little more time, so why don't we start with 15 minutes? If you need more, by all means. I know it's an important project, so please let me know if you need more time. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Good morning. I appreciate that. Matt Amster with the law firm of Burke, Halverdell, Fernandez, Larkin, and Tapanez. Offices at 200 South Biscayne Boulevard in Miami. Here today representing 5940 NBR Owner LLC. From ownership, we have Todd Glazer and Jared Posner here. Rob Moring is our architect from Domo. Chris Cawley is also here, our landscape architect, and been helped by our partner at the firm, Michael Larkin, and Rob Alvarez. As mentioned, we did have a handout. We've done extensive outreach to all the neighbors across the street, north and south of the property, and many of them have given a letter of support. Those are in our packets here, but others have also generously said verbally to our team that they have no issue and support our requests. Rogelio, you did a great job. This is a somewhat complicated endeavor because the code has very extensive understory regulations. In fact, if you parse them out like we're doing here, there's about 27 of them. So it's extremely rigorous in order to comply. But I want to make sure that everyone's keeping in mind, why does the code have all of these regulations, right? There's a purpose behind it. Understories are an area underneath your home to allow for, again, flow of water. We do have that plenty, but another point of the understory is to make sure that the home does not appear to be 3 stories tall, and that's where the openness and other design requirements are put in there. You will see that Rob's wonderful design with sloping up to the home itself at the front, and again, the majority of the front is really only 1 story, and we even have a partial understory. We are not utilizing the whole area under the home, and the code is a little bit of a challenge to meet those requirements because it's as if you're doing a full understory. Well, we are only doing a partial understory, and as Rogelio mentioned, even some of those parts that are enclosed, that counts against our unit size. So we are doing 42.8% unit size. but we are actually counting areas in an understory that no one will see because of the way that the contours of this property as it slopes up to a sort of a one-story from the front and then gets to a more rear area of 2 stories at the back. We have tremendous side setbacks and rear setbacks to not be any impingement on our neighbors. So I just want you to keep in mind that the code has many of these requirements. They really are geared to a full understory that does not have this wonderful design of low scale at the front and still meeting all of our stormwater drainage. Another aspect that you'll see is extensive green roofs that also assist in the collective comprehensive stormwater management system for the property. And we have a presentation, if you can bring that up, and I'll turn it over to Rob.
Good morning. Thank you. I appreciate your time this morning. My name is Robert Moring, Principal of Domo Architecture and Design. Joining us virtually is my partner, Francisco Yado. Our office is located at 420 Lincoln Road, Suite 506. So the property is located on the northern end of North Bay Road, facing the waterfront generally to the northwest direction. It is a large lot, 99,504 square feet. Pretty much all the waterfront lots on that size are oversized, large lots. In designing the property, we look to nature and how does it shape the place, the beautiful place that we live in. How does the sea carve the land? How does groundwater and surface water gently erode the rock beneath us? And how does the landscape permeate throughout that? By doing so, then we endeavor to create a warm and welcoming home embedded within a garden, one that is visually recedes into, yet is structured by that landscape. This is a view from the rear of the property, showing the softly tapered roof lines, landscape at each level, providing softness and draping over the edges, and then the softly rounded forms and natural materials of the actual walls of the property. So in siting the home on the property, as Matt mentioned, it is a 2-story home, but the 2-story massing of the house is towards the rear, towards the waterfront. The front of the property is mainly 1-story. The front is set back 50 feet. 75 feet, 6.5 inches. That is 55 feet more than what is the minimum requirement for the 1-story front setback. And then the second floor of the home is set back 227 feet from the front property line. So we have this home that's been stretched out into pavilions with this large sloping green roof above, unifying it in a garden landscape. To the side, in the middle is a courtyard. There's a courtyard garden for the arrival. To the rear is a waterfront pool. And then we have access from that motor court down into the side yard to the understory. And this is a view of that space there. You can see the steps up to the first floor level to the right, and then access to the motor court, to the understory parking below. So let's look at the understory real quickly. As mentioned, the parking area is generally open on both sides. It's a drive aisle with parking on either side. And then we have fill towards the front and rear of that understory portion of the home. This is to allow for those elements that are within it. We have water features, we have swimming pools that all cut into that depth. You would not be able to do an open understory beneath those areas. You would not have anywhere near the required headroom to do so. And it also allows for planting of large trees and landscape within those areas. So in addition to the parking, we have open air parking. We have an enclosed garage for a few vehicles to keep them out of the salt air. The code does allow for building access to be enclosed and under AC. That's for elevators, stairs, and the lobbies associated with them. And then the rest is understory areas on the upper side of the drawing here. That's called the north side. It's on an angle. And those are placed beneath the pavilions above, beneath the guest house and beneath the wellness pavilion. And we're enclosing those for storage, as mentioned. We prepared a quick diagram to explain the transitions because I know there's a lot going on with this house and how to access it. So when you come off of North Bay Road in the main driveway, it slopes up gently to the access to the main first habitable floor of the home. It's for ease of transition. You want to be able to pull up to your front door. We'll talk more about that later when I get to that floor. But you peel off to the left, it goes down to the side yard and access to the understory, circulates through, then back out along the north side, along a drive aisle there. So again, this fill on either side allows for the program uses there, the pools, the terracing, and landscape. And then off the paddle court in the front of the Wellness Pavilion, we have the fill there to support the paddle court above and have, access from that gym pavilion directly out. So we prepared a few quick variance diagrams. This shows in red, because of that fill, we need to have structural retaining walls instead of breakaway walls that would be required per the parameters of that section of the code. Obviously, you can't have wave action come through and knock off the walls and then, there's nothing supporting that earth behind it. We also have structural elements of columns to support the home above. The area highlighted in blue is beneath the Wellness Pavilion. It's just going to be a lap pool. It's kind of envisioned to be a grotto-like space. And then in beige are storage rooms and the owner's garage that we are asking for to be under AC in order to, prevent mildew and corrosion from the salt air.
So just to clarify a few things, the blue pool area, that's the single recreational use area that we're looking to have enclosed, right? You can have that in the understory area. It's just the nature of this is to have that be as an appropriate protected area. And where we've located it, again, this entire, all the gray area that you're seeing in the center and right side of this drawing is really the majority of the first floor only of the home above. So again, the understory is meant to try to prevent a three-story appearance, and so that is where we are keeping that scale and massing down for a vast majority of the property. Some of the garage area is allowed to be enclosed. The code does have a amount of square footage to allow for enclosed garage and storage, and where you are above that square footage, as I mentioned, then these brown areas we have to count them towards our unit size, even though they don't add to the massing above, but that's precisely what we're really trying to prevent, as Rogelio was also mentioning, that we are well below, not even 43% of unit size, and the home above is actually lower than that because we're counting areas down here that are enclosed because that's how the zoning rules work, but it helps to keep the massing of the home much smaller up above. So just keeping that in mind. And then as we go to the next one, the fill itself can be included into your stormwater drainage, right? The water will have to drain down into the ground in many places. Just having free-flowing water in an understory level, the water still has to go somewhere, and you're required to keep 100% of it on your property. So even though flow of water can go through, and if we could keep the presentation up, we're going to keep going in a minute. That water still needs to have, drainage and percolation down into the ground, and so the fill areas will help to be, again, a comprehensive plan to do that. So as if it's essentially, that's what I'm saying, it's a partial sort of, we're like doing a hybrid where the front half of the home is really more of a home that would be built mostly without an understory. It has to meet its stormwater requirements. We are benefiting from having that in our part of our design. And so it's the garage area that is sort of the traditional understory requirement. It is under the two-story portion. It is open as it needs to be.
And pools are allowed use in an understory. We've done it at 2 homes, one at 220 San Marino and one at 830 West Toledo. In addition, as precedents, in 2016, we went before the Board of Adjustment for a home located at 101112 Star Island Drive. At the time, understory regulations were not in the code, but we received approval for a home that had a 54-car garage. I don't want to call it a basement, but it was built at grade and then covered with earth, similar to this. And then that home was relocated to lots 4, 5, and 6 Star Island Drive as an understory home in 2022, received approval from the Design Review Board for the same variances for the 50% open on the sides, as well as the 5-foot understory edge setback. And then again, yesterday, we received unanimous approval for the modification to that same application. This diagram shows the 5-foot understory edge setback. The beige color indicates the enclosed space of the floor above. And then by code, you need to have a 5-foot setback within that to allow for opportunities for additional landscaping and stormwater management. By contrast, so that required area, we did a quick study in green, is 4,931 square feet. Note that we are providing a lot of pervious area on the property. Our front and rear yards are well above the requirement for pervious area. And then we're providing over 30,000 square feet of green roof on this project, which is not normally you don't see in homes. This green roof will, help with absorption of water and also percolation if it's a really heavy storm event. So it really, it's like over 6 times the requirement that would be provided by that 5-foot understory edge.
Right, so those green roofs are providing well over 30% lot coverage. So they're significant coverage of the footprint of the lot. They just happen to be elevated, but can be incorporated through a comprehensive stormwater system.
So let's look at the first floor of the home. In designing the home, we broke it up in pavilions. The intent of this was to reduce the massing on the property. So we have, as you come in up the driveway, you arrive in the motor court. There's an open breezeway to the waterfront, so that if you're entertaining, people can access the rear yard without having to go through your home. The main home is on the northwest corner, and then we have a separate pavilion for entertainment to the bottom left. And then the other pavilions are a 2-bedroom guest house on the northern side in the middle, and then a gym pavilion on the northeast side, the upper right corner, and then a small staff pavilion and mechanical pavilion on the bottom right corner. The purpose of this is to allow for, passive cooling, prevailing breezes to flow through the house. You don't have a long, expansive wall to the side yards and to the neighboring properties. It's broken up into these smaller pavilions. Then to understand the circulation, you arrive up from the main driveway at this first habitable floor of the home. Gives you ease of access to the front door through that garden just to the north of it, as well as to the guest pavilion and to the gym. And then from the home to the rear yard, you can step out of your house to the pool level, and then down to the waterfront. Rear yards are allowed by code to be up the level of base flood +5, which is essentially the level of the house.
Mr. Chair, we're about at our end of our time. May we please?
Good, 10 more minutes? Or?
5 minutes probably.
Okay, let's go, we'll do 10, and then we'll get there if you need more. We'll give
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is a view from that motor court arrival, the breezeway passage to the waterfront, the main entrance to the home to the right. Looking to the right to the guest house, there'll be a garden here lushly planted. And then the second floor of the home contains the private living spaces, the bedrooms, and an office. And circulation-wise, this the garden merges with the architecture, sweeping up in this green roof, draping the ground floor in this decadent garden with pathways and opportunities for art installations, and also access from the home to this garden space. And then the rooftop, we have a terrace with a canopy providing shade and a green roof up there as well. So we have this layered landscape with the entire property on every level. Looking at the elevations, this is from the front, from the street, inside the front wall. You can see the green roof sloping up on the left, the passage underneath that green roof to the motor court to drop off. Then on the right is the paddle court and gym pavilions. Stepping backwards from that to the street, this provides, the really heavy landscape buffer in the front where you won't even see the house. Then stepping forward to that courtyard, looking at the home from the front, the steps down to the side yard, and the one portion of the enclosed understory on the right-hand side under the guest structure. Then turning around, looking back towards the entryway, you have the gym and the staff pavilion. And then looking at the sides, the top elevation is the complete elevation, then I blow it up on 2 slides to show you enlargement. The understory is really only visible in the one portion where the garage entrance is. At the rear, we have terraced landscape stepping down to the waterfront. And then as you move towards the front, you have the steps going up the mortar court, and then the garden roof line comes down. So from the street, it really appears as a one-story house with a two-story well back from the street. And frankly, wouldn't be visible with the landscape. And then on the other side, the same thing, the front beneath the gym pavilion, we do have an access to that a grotto pool below. And then at the rear, it steps down to the, from the rear yard to the side yard, and then you have the access to the garage. And then from the waterfront, the understory is not even visible. It's all just terraced landscape up to the home. That concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, happy to take them. I'm landscape architect here as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment. Is there anyone here in the chambers or on Zoom?
If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand. Nobody on Zoom.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the board for questions. I know, thank you for, for the explanation. It's a little bit of a, different for us. I don't know which one was better, this one or the one on Star Island, right? But somebody open it up to any questions from the board through the chair. Ms. Silverman, did you?
The one question I have is, because it's an understory house, does that mean it could be higher, like height-wise overall?
Yes, the code authorizes an extra 3 feet for understory homes.
Okay, so it's 3 feet
Yeah.
higher.
I'm probably quick. I didn't close public comment. I opened it and I didn't close it, so public comment closed. Did I?
I thought you.
Gotta follow protocol, Listen, I only have 3 more months left. I'm done in December. I'm termed out, sorry.
You'll have it right in time.
You guys have missed me. Questions? Mr. Silvers?
Excuse me. I have a question. Can you look at the roof plan of the main house?
Could you bring the plans back up, please?
I would like to know the stair that goes up there, is that an enclosed stair?
No, by code, it's not allowed to be enclosed at the rooftop level. So at the second floor below, there'll be a door you open up, then you step out, there'll be a drain in the floor.
So, but it's completely covered?
It's under the canopy that's above.
Right, there's a canopy
provided
over
shade.
it.
Yes.
Right, that's
But
right.
it's,
I
there's
saw it on
no,
the plan.
no glass volume enclosing that
Right.
stair on the upper level.
Okay,
It's open air, open to the air.
okay. That's what I wanted to see. Otherwise, it looks like a very well-planned out design, and it's tough to get that large of a house that's with a flat roof. But you seem to have at least put some articulation on the roof. You don't show a rendering from like above, so you can't really tell
Yeah, it's
with
gonna,
the big roof.
it's gonna be all garden
Yeah,
basically,
that's-
so that's,
Yeah, it's too bad you didn't do that. I would have liked to see more articulation up there. That's all.
You were easy on them. Other questions? Beautiful development. I'm just trying to understand, and it's really cool, so in the understory, you've got 26 parking spots, right? And then the 4-car garage is separate. How do you get, if you can put that slide back up, I'm just curious, I want to know, how does it work, like if you're coming in off North Bay Road and you want to take a car and get into those parking spots? I just want to kind of see the flow. Can you, whichever picture you feel is the right one, I just want to better understand, how do you get the cars down there?
So if you look at the beige yellow, that arrows, that indicates the circulation. So you come off of North Bay Road, either through the main entrance or through the service drive on the northern end. Circulate to the left, because the main one goes up, goes down to the side yard, and then through the understory, and back out the other side. So it's completely open, that parking area, on the side yards, the north and south side.
And there's going to be partial air conditioning down there. I know that's one of the variances in the garage. That's one of the.
Yeah, it's allowed for, we're requesting it for the garage, and it's permitted by code for the lobby that goes for the elevator and stair.
I have a
Keep in mind,
question.
there's going to be a lot of service vehicles and landscape vehicles that service these properties, so we're trying to keep them off the street and onto the property, but also hiding it, so it's not just parked all over the yard.
Great, great.
The owner's has a four-car garage that's enclosed within the garage. Is that what-
Because it's an open-air parking area, we need to provide.
Temperature
one for
controlled
that-
and stuff like
For the
that.
really nice cars to be protected.
Mr. Nagler?
Yeah, this is for the applicant or representatives. Please explain the interplay between these variance requests and the Miami Beach Rising Above campaign.
Well, understories are meant to exactly do that, right? To bring in resiliency into single-family home design. And they do that on a variety of different ways. The parking area we were just looking at is a perfect example of that, where you have open flow of water through that lower area, and it's not a, you know, an area that, it is an area that can accommodate that water flow to help with any storm surge, especially for waterfront properties. The other part of these variances are, again, for stormwater collection and management. There are areas that can be utilized not just for the free flow of water, but where you have, you know, a need for percolation into the ground. And as I mentioned before, the lower areas at the front that do not have actual understory areas, right, where that's now just the free flow of water, those are now areas that can help with the collection of water. Again, to maintain water, every property owner has to keep all stormwater that falls on their property, you know, contained within their own property. So this is how this property can achieve that, even with a few deviations based on, again, the unique design that we've presented before you.
You can build a home up to base flood +5 with no understory, so raised for resiliency. So this is really a hybrid between that and an understory home.
How does the water get into that large collection space underneath with the solid walls?
Well,
Surface drainage from above from the garden, because there's no hardscape, it's earth fill.
Right, we have very significant side setbacks that'll help collect the water, so it's that itself will be designed to not have to go fully into that area. What we're talking about is that also water is falling, you know, rainwater that will be able to be collected at multiple levels, right, throughout the entire project. This actually has, you know, it's almost 70% of this, if you just look at it from the top down, almost 70% of the property is green, open, pervious space, right, able to collect water. That's much more significant than, you know, most homes have by far, right? If we were maxing out, you know, you could have 50% of this lot if it was a complete one-story, you know, home, and so you can have up to 70% open space, but you have, you know, other recreational areas. Many of those are covered in this with green roofs. So that's where we help to offset essentially the intent of the stormwater drainage provisions through the understory regulations are now exceeded by the design and additional open space areas.
And all water is retained on the site. Nothing goes out onto the street. You're not allowed that by code.
Any other questions?
I just want to say that it's a very impressive project. And congrats.
Thank you.
So if there's no other questions, as Mr. Madden explained earlier, you know, I was debating whether or not to do these variances separately, but I don't think that makes sense because they all kind of fall in line with each other. If I did that way, if one didn't pass, it could really muddy up the project. So I'm fine if the board concurs. You know, if anyone wants to put a motion out there, I don't think we should separate them. I think the approval should be for all as stated and as staff recommended. If anybody would want to put that motion on the floor, I'll entertain that.
I'd move to approve all the variances.
Okay, moved by Mr. Davis. Do I hear a second? Okay, second by Ms. Marmelli. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, we have one nay. The motion passes. Congratulations and good luck with the project. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so our next meeting is October 17th. We do have 4 items. We don't have an appeal. The appeals just keep moving forward. So 4 items, so, you know, should be an hour and a half or so, 2 hours. Mr. Madden, anything else that we should mention, or Mr. City Attorney?
What's the date? Say the date.
October 17th? October 17th?
Thank you.
Okay.
Just going back to the prior hearing on the North Bay Road property with the Padel Court that was built, the 6 inches. The reason that it came to the planning department or to the building department.
Guys,
There was a complaint that was lodged against the property for constructing the Padel Court over an existing swimming pool. So the first violation was issued for access because the property owner was not permitting access to the property, and that was BA 2400499. As a result of obtaining access, the building department was able to verify that no permits were used to fill in the swimming pool as well as construct the new structure. So that was given BVC 2400131, and it was issued on March 13th, 2024 to the property owner. So
Yeah,
that's why
I think I said it before, not to rehash, it behooves me that a contractor thinks he can go into the city of Miami Beach and a property like that and construct something and think he can get away with it. And again, I don't know, again, I think the board, we all agreed, that contractor should be flagged on any of his projects to make sure there's additional due diligence. It's wrong. It wasn't a small thing, it was a huge, when I had my agenda review with Mr. Madden yesterday, it's the first thing I brought up. I go, how can a contractor do that and not pull the permit? It's really bad. It's really bad. No, to me, and I deal, we do residential construction lending, so I deal with, that is like an unscrupulous contractor, and he's not doing the right thing for his client because, you can imagine what the client paid to have that structure built. It wasn't cheap. It was probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And the swimming pool.
Yeah.
You have to also demolish
it makes
the
no
swimming pool.
sense because it was 6 inches. Why are you going to try and squeak by? It makes absolutely no sense. And, it kind of bothers me that someone would do that to their client because they didn't do the right thing. I mean, obviously the client maybe should have known too, on both sides. So.
Unless it was an absentee owner and they just
Yeah.
relied.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because in some of the countries that at least I see violations, most places don't require permits. So they just think that they can do it. I mean, I see that on interior remodels of apartments daily in front of the special magistrate.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
But they got caught more likely than not by a neighbor who all of a sudden realized there wasn't a swimming pool there.
Yeah, well, listen,
Or
I'm sure,
gas
hopefully they got the
fires.
message, and the last thing I said when we approved, I said they got lucky this time.
Yeah.
I didn't know any other way to kind of phrase it, so. Any other comments or good and welfare?
Yeah, just because we're talking about this topic. So I'm just seeing there's two different things. There's the issue of not getting a permit, which I agree and adopt your position 1,000%. But then I think separate and apart from that was the actual violation, which was 6 inches. I just wanted to delineate that I think those are two separate issues. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
to agree with,
Yeah.
to reiterate what you said, I mean, the approval was based on the fact that it's de minimis, right?
Yes,
6
yep.
inches, right? Because if it was a big variance and they didn't get a permit and then they did it, I'm not sure that
Yeah,
we all would have.
the approval of the
approved it.
variance was a no-brainer, you're right, but the fact how we got there and that a permit wasn't pulled to build something of that magnitude is just wrong, I mean, we've done a lot of after-the-fact variances, and they're typically minor stuff, but this, I mean, you guys saw the picture of that, it's just like, it's significant, so anyway. All right, any other good welfare, guys? Thank you so much, good meeting, appreciate all your efforts, and motion to adjourn. Have a great day, have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
I gotta vote next week, go back.